This episode of the Killer Be Killed podcast, we've got NFL player caves the dude's face in the street. A high school basketball coach goes ballistic and tries to knock over a cartel safe house. And submissions for the street. Are they useless? Can you use them? Let's find out in this episode of the Killer Be Killed podcast. Let's go.
And now, the Kill or Be Killed podcast with Damian Ross, founder and master instructor of the Self-Defense Company.
Yo, George, what's going on, man?
Not much, my man. How's it going today?
It's good. It's crazy shit happening like every day. How's things up there in the north?
You know what? It's the same old bloody thing, man. Day like 5 or day 6 here of stay at home, and of course, you know the numbers are going up. Everybody's out partying. It is what it is, right? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
You know, it's so weird. And now with the vaccine, you know, look, at the end of the day, I hope everybody's safe, and I hope, you know, I'm right and they're right. I'm not. And it's your body, your choice. I'm not, you know, advocating that you do or do not. I'm just my personal preferences and the way I am. I'm like, I am not rushing out to get this fucking thing.
Exactly.
You know, we're looking at, I mean, it's funny. It's like if people are just, it's so politically driven. If like, I mean, it's most of the people who were, I mean, again, it's like against Trump, you know, they want the vaccine, but then you tell them, well, by the way, the orange haired guy, he's the one that kind of helped fast track this thing and get this thing brought to market. Yep. They don't want to hear that. In fact, like there are some people talking about, well, I'm not going to take any vaccine that Trump's not a doctor. You know, he wasn't involved in any of this other than probably, you know, facilitating, you know, the approval process to go faster than it normally would. That's it. So, you know, I mean, to even equate, I mean, people think like the president is a king, and it is the stupidest fucking notion I've ever heard in my life. Yeah. But so that being said, you know, it's like the people who, you know, if you don't have a healthy distrust of the government and of, you know, large corporations, or any, I mean, look, at the end of the day, and it's not that even distrust, it's just understanding that they're, you know, pharmaceutical companies are in the business to make money.
Yeah.
Hospitals are in the business to make money. Without money, they don't survive. So while there is a higher calling to help people and save lives, which is real, obviously, you know, there's also this underlying current that, you know, it's a business, right? So if we don't make money, we don't put food on the table. It's as simple as that. So, you know, these people, you know, that are like willy-nilly just going into it and want to be the first one. I mean, and there's like a full court press on getting vaccinated that it's freaking, it's crazy. I don't know. Are you experiencing the same in Canada?
We are. I mean, people are definitely rushing to do it. And actually, I've got a student of mine who just called me 2 days ago because he wants to get back to live training as soon as this whole, you know, stay-at-home order bullshit is done. And he's like going and getting his done tomorrow. And, you know, he's got cancer. So his attitude is kind of like, well, you know what, I'm already fucking dying from cancer, so how much worse can it get?
I get it.
Yeah.
Totally get it.
But, you know, my parents, they've decided that they're going to do it.
My mom did it.
Yeah, and I mean, for us in my age group, not being a frontline worker or anything like that, I wouldn't have the option to do it anyways until July or August if I even wanted to. So it's interesting to watch. It's interesting to hear. It's now all of a sudden there are the pharmacies up here. Local grocery store has a pharmacy in there, and they're starting to do the fucking shots. So it's pretty unbelievable watching what's actually happening and how people are jumping towards it. And like you, I'm not anti-vaccine. Right. I don't do the flu shot. I stay away from vaccines as much as I possibly can. But, you know, thinking about our future as instructors and possibly traveling, we may or may not have to do this. So in the meantime, you know, I'm just doing as much research on it as I can and watching to see what really happens with people and what kind of effects there really are from it. And hopefully, you know, there aren't many, hopefully.
Well, time will tell, you know,
Yeah.
and that's why when you're saying June or July, I think that's a good time frame because, you know, there's also, you know, like every virus, they run their course. I mean, granted, you know, it's, you know, in the beginning when we were talking about like this was, you know, it was a conspiracy theory that the corona this particular virus was made in the lab, and now that's kind of like the prevailing, you know, belief is that it came out of that Wuhan level 4 facility, which has had issues of this in the past, and they work with coronaviruses and all the other shit. So yeah, that, you know, by the time, you know, the summer rolls around, when it is available, you know, you'll be able to, you know, it's probably, you know, the infection rate's going to be down. The death rate's already down a lot. You know, there is a reality of, you know, there's a Russian roulette factor to this thing because some people have long-term effects, others don't. It hits people like really differently in a lot of cases. So yeah, I mean, that's a real concern. But like yourself, you know, I'm in really good shape. You know, I don't like to medicate, period.
Yeah.
So I let, you know, my body do its thing. I'm not running to the doctor. I'm 53. I'm not on any medication, not planning to be on any medication. When I know a lot of people, you know, my age and in our age bracket are, you know, blood pressure, blood thinner, and all the other shit. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm like, you got to just fucking take care of yourself. And that doesn't mean you can't eat or drink everything on the goddamn planet and do whatever you want all the time, because that's just not how it works. So anyway, on that note, with no segue whatsoever, I want to talk to you about a couple things. I'm a big fan. I follow Barstool Sports. I'm sure, you know, billions of other people do. They ran a couple stories today that I really want to talk about. The first one is Aaron Donald. You gotta. So I don't want to show us. Here we go. See. Okay, can you see that?
Yep.
Okay. So Aaron Donald, okay, if you don't know who he is, he's an American football player. Plays for the Rams. This is not him. This is him. Okay, they say this guy's undersized. He benches like 550 pounds.
Jesus.
He got into a fight at an after-hours club, which, again, you know, shit happens. But, you know, when you're, you know, nothing good, the hour varies, but nothing good ever happens after 11 o'clock.
Yep.
Right? So, yeah, this guy is the elite athlete and probably one of the last people on the planet you would want to punch you in the face.
Yep.
So this poor son of a bitch had the misfortune of tangling with him. And yeah, that's what that looks like. So he hit him. Not only did he bust up his head, the guy, I guess, fell and broke his arm. So like, I'm not surprised he's not dead. But now, that's not even the big thing of the story. So I scroll down and they got this video of him training with this guy with a knife defense. And I'm going to tell you, I've never seen something. No, I've seen something. This is another useless fucking martial arts drill that you got to see to believe, but we've all seen this and I have no idea what they're training for. And we'll go. So look at it, dude. Look at Aaron Donald. He's a fucking beast. Yeah, again.
I'm sorry. Was that fucking knife defense or what was going on there?
I've no idea the purpose of that drill.
Because I mean, everybody fucking stabs that way, right?
Yeah, and they call out. You know, listen. I'm going to tell you that I know the thinking behind this is to develop some type of muscle reaction or eye-hand reaction time to the body motion of that stab. But the reality of the chance of that translating into any meaningful, real self-defense tactic is zero.
Yep.
Because one, you're already sitting there waiting for the drill. Two, the guy is calling it out. Three, you will never get attacked like that. Never. The guy is going to be holding the knife, squeezing the fuck out of it, and just smashing you in the face with the other hand, choking you, grabbing you, or just freaking ramming that knife into wherever he can as many times as possible. In fact, most times you won't even feel it because your adrenaline is going to be going so much unless you get a lung punctured. Then you'll feel it. So, the martial arts is like filled with useless shit like this. And that big Aaron Donald don't need that.
No.
And I'm telling you, teaching him that is actually a detriment and taking away his natural ability to destroy somebody.
Yep.
Like, holy crap, man. That guy is an animal. What he should be doing is using his pass-by techniques and his hand techniques, and apparently he's got a pretty goddamn good punch. So,
doesn't it?
Yeah. So, and this is what happens in the martial arts. You get people that come in who are naturally gifted athletes and street fighters, and then they get fed this nonsense by this guy convinced him that he knows what he's talking about. Aaron Donald should be teaching this guy.
Yeah.
So then he comes in and he convinces him that this is actually doing something. And this guy's got access to the Rams facility. And look at him looking at it and fucking, yeah, man. Yeah, useless. Okay. And then before I get into the submissions, but I wanted to bring this up. This guy, Barney Harris, he's a men's basketball coach down in North Carolina, had gotten into a shootout with a Mexican drug cartel.
Oh, good.
So, yeah, high school basketball coach was killed in a shootout last week. According to the sheriff's office, he died on Thursday, April 8th in a shootout. Investigators said Harris and another person went to his stash house in Alamance County to steal money and drugs from the cartel.
This basketball coach.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know. The guy could have been an ex-fucking SEAL, right?
Yep.
So we don't know. But so there's definitely a documentary here, if not, some type of Netflix fucking special on this thing.
Yeah.
So him and his partner, Steve Alexander Stewart, who was identified as his brother-in-law, they killed the drug runner for the cartel before a shootout started. He was shot and killed during the gunfire. It's important to know. He was shot multiple times. He was wearing a bulletproof vest that it didn't protect him from the ammunition being used in the shooting. Meaning he probably wore a 3A vest, which is good for firearms, but the guys probably had ARs. Yeah. So you should have, if you went with a level, next time you are laying siege to a drug cartel house, make note, it's better to go with the level 3 or above body armor. Okay.
And we sell them.
And we do. We have it available. It's on bulletproofbodyguard.com.
That's right.
You go there and get your level 3 up backpack kit. And converts to a vest, less than a second, patented design, great stuff. So, I don't know what happened other than these guys tried to rob a drug cartel house. I mean, the conversation up to this point, I mean, obviously there's a series of events, that makes these guys look at each other and be like, yeah, I think, how hard could it be?
That's right.
Right. What are you doing next Tuesday? Okay, I gotta go. I got a vest. I hope they weren't wearing one of ours. I got a vest. There's the house. tons of money going in.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
What's a cartel gonna do?
Yeah,
They can't call the cops.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I blame Breaking Bad and other series like this for this type of behavior. I do.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I need to know so many questions.
Yeah.
So many questions. Like, yeah.
There is no starting point. There's no fucking starting point to that. Just
again, he's coaching, basketball season's over, I guess. Now he's got the time to do it. Or it could have been a totally righteous thing where, I don't know, they did something. But again, I don't know. I guess a GoFundMe was out of the question.
Really?
So, yeah. Okay. So, I don't know. So, anyway, that was what's in the news. Now, George, you brought something up to me, and, we like to grab these things every once in a while. One of the things was using submissions for self-defense.
Yeah, and here's the thing, right? There's whatever social media platform you're on now, there's such a push for BJJ being used for real legitimate self-defense. And you know what? I actually appreciate and like BJJ. But for the street, I think it's completely fucking useless. You gotta use it for what it really is. And I found a video. This is a woman's self-defense, anti-abduction, anti-rape video. And let me just, let's just jump right into this. Let me share this with you.
Okay.
Tell me, make sure that you can see this. All right.
Okay. I'm the stream. There we go. Okay.
Can you see this? Okay.
Yeah, it's up. We're up. We're good.
All right. Oh shit. Here we go.
Hey guys, now the bad guy comes up, picks you up over the shoulder, and takes off.
Could you pause that for a second? Pause it for a second right now. Nobody ever fucking does this.
No. Nobody does this, and you know what? It's only gonna get better. So
let's just we're gonna suspend reality for a moment. Okay, but most of the times, if anything happens like this, it's usually a boyfriend, a couple fighting. If this ever happens, there's no way any stranger, a stranger's not going to come up and pick you up and run off into the woods. That is the least efficient way to do that. They're going to isolate you. They're going to use, they're going to lie, cheat, and steal to get you. They're going to help you like carry groceries or bags, or get you or isolate you, in your apartment, getting it, they're going to approach you when you're going into your apartment building, you're going into your door, right? Just things like that. They're going to follow you for a while. They're not going to do this. This is why martial arts suck at self-defense. Okay.
100%. So guys, ladies, you can still feel comfortable to walk out of your local 7-Eleven because this is very unlikely to happen. But let's evaluate this here for a moment.
And again, where did this guy come from? Right? He didn't appear in a puff of smoke. A guy's going to be approaching you at some point. You may want to fucking run away. But anyway, I digress. Just go.
All right. So the very first thing that he says is, legitimate. Use your voice to keep a person away. I'm good with that. No is a complete sentence. Wonderful. We're good. I mean, this is it's probably not going to play out this way, but so far we're okay.
Right. Yeah, you're not beating that up. That's fine. Right. No, verbal and telling people no stops a lot of shit.
That's right. So we're okay so far. All right, so next is create a frame. Well, okay, I can understand the logic and the idea behind, this creating a frame. But why would you just not hit the motherfucker if he gets close enough to you in the first fucking place?
Yeah.
If I get close and I grab her, I'm going to pick her up.
He's going to destroy. This person in size is going to destroy her. She's not. She lacks the complete strength to do any of this nonsense. Again, based that this attack is bullshit and not real. Fact of the matter is, if you can do that, you can hit somebody.
Well, and you notice when he said create this frame and it's going to start, connect to under the carotid. Why would you not just strike that area? So I mean, there is a little good in every
the target area. The target area is correct, but the fact is that's not going to do anything to it. Striking it would do something to it.
Exactly.
And that's what you want to do. So turn that frame into an edge of hand multiply, repeatedly, and you got something.
Yes.
So this is not doing anything. It's not going to stop anybody at all.
All right. So
create a strong frame, shoulder frame. Don't let it bend. You got to keep it strong. Now, if I continue to come forward, easiest way is to go around this way, and then right away, boom, she arcs up and she goes.
Oh boy.
So yeah, do you want to just address that?
Yeah. First, if in order to strangle someone in the street, especially like that, especially someone her size, I mean, you have to be highly skilled and strong to do it. First off. Secondly, he's sitting there thinking that guillotine strangle is going to automatically work like that and stop him, when in reality, he's still going to pick her up anyway.
He's either going to pick her up or he's going to just barrel her right into the fucking wall right behind her.
That frame bullshit he just did, now she completely destroyed it because she let go of it. She didn't do any damage to her attacker or anything to stop his momentum at all, right? She did the frame, which did maybe a little bit, only on the first point of contact.
Yep.
Then nothing. Now she's sliding in thinking that he's going to just stay there and let her put this in on him. Granted, that woman does not have any of the strength to strangle him at all. Maybe when they're practicing in the dojo where they're like, okay, oh, wow, that worked. And now here's a fun fact, kids. If you can strangle someone, it's a hell of a lot harder to strangle someone in the street than it is to knock them out with strikes.
Yep.
That's what striking is the most efficient way to deliver damage to your opponent. It is, physics are on our side. I mean, you create momentum, you create velocity and speed, as opposed to an applied controlled pressure of a strangle. And even if you miss with the strike, you will distract them in some way, shape, or form. Okay. Just because you tap somebody, in practice doesn't mean when you're in the street, your adrenaline's going and this person is trying to fucking hurt you.
Yes.
It's a different ball game. I'm telling you. When you're getting strangled in the dojo, you're a little uncomfortable. You stop. But when you believe that your life is, believe me, trust me, kids, in the street, when you feel yourself getting choked, you freak the fuck out.
Yep.
I don't give a shit who you are. So that all of a sudden there's going to be a rage on that fucking target. You're going to feel. What you need to do is break the fucking predator prey cycle. And when you verbally do that, when you use the correct strikes to stop their momentum, create distance and escape, great. This shit, look, if you don't have the skill to strikes to knock someone out with a strike in the street, if you don't have the skill and the power to do that, you do not have the skill and the power to strangle someone. Period.
Absolutely. And hold that thought for a minute, because you know what? He's going to add to this. Just watch this now.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Grab the neck, control the first arm, hips forward, shoulders back, elevator up, just like that. One more time.
I guess no hips involved. All arm.
Up here.
Now listen.
She puts me to sleep. It only takes about 6 to 8 seconds, and it's good. Save your life.
She puts me to sleep, and it only takes about 6 to 8 seconds with an unskilled individual, a woman who all of a sudden didn't expect a fucking attack, who's now dealing with this stress, who's no longer cognitive, and you think that she's going to be able to do this, and this could save your life. This is the advice that's being put out right now.
Oh, man, we should charge $1 million for our shit. So, you know, when, like, there's a reason why in judo, when you pick somebody off the mat like that, they stop the match because you will get slammed down to the fucking deck, and that causes damage. You see in MMA all the time.
Yes.
All the time. The fact that she's going to wrap herself around there. And by the way, 6 to 8 seconds. Who's got time? That's a long fucking time on somebody who is bigger than you, stronger than you.
And probably bashing you into fucking shit.
Right. And if somebody decides to do a double leg takedown, like, again, there's no way that framing is stopping that. So it's bullshit. But if someone decides to choose that method of attack, they have some skill already in this arena.
Yeah.
So, because they picked this method of attack. So, they already know more than you, right? And I know you're thinking that, you know, you're taking these classes, even if you're a skilled fighter. I'm a skilled fighter. I would never, ever choose to do that.
No.
Ever. That is insane. When I say skilled, besides being at one point in my life a nationally ranked wrestler and judo competitor, you know, also trained in some BJJ, sure.
Yep.
But unbelievable, you know, and then they're teaching this to women.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say just women. I mean, smaller, larger, or smaller, weaker versus stronger, larger. That's how the world, whether it's man, woman, child, it doesn't matter. It's stronger, weaker versus smaller, larger. It's not like a self-defense technique knows whether you have a penis or vagina.
That's right.
Right? It just fucking works. And if it works, if it works for a woman, I'm fucking using it.
Yep.
You know, it's not like you have to have some special fucking thing. Look, man, I appreciate that, you know, people, you know, want to do this stuff and help other people in the way they know. But the problem is with martial arts for self-defense and why it never fucking works is for two reasons. One, it demands that you already be an expert in that martial art.
Yep.
One. Okay. So, you know, wrestling, and this goes for wrestling, boxing, judo, jiu-jitsu, everything, karate.
Yeah.
It demands that you be an expert and then you adapt that to the street. Two is that if all you had was, you know, it forces you to look through the world through one window, right? If all you had was a hammer, then everything in life would be a nail.
That's right.
Right. So, you know, as like I'm looking at this from a wrestling perspective. I'm looking at this at a jiu-jitsu perspective, and I'm going to use my jiu-jitsu to solve this problem. And the problem is you miss a lot of things because just naturally you're trained to overlook and, you know, not exploit many, many opportunities.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, we always look at it from a point of whatever gives me the tactical advantage at the time. And whatever causes the most damage to my attacker and the least damage to me
Exactly.
in the fastest amount of time. So, you know, looking at these things, there are like a million different other ways that you could handle that situation. And besides one, you know, dude, I mean, just shit. I mean, just hitting at their face.
Yeah.
Hitting at their face when they get close to you. If they get close to you. Right? So, you know, you got escape and evasion you got awareness, escape, and evasion,
Yep.
right? You see them, this guy's fucking stalking me. I create space and move away.
Yeah.
Right? And women getting abducted like this, it's fucking stupid, ludicrous, never happens.
That's right.
Never happens. So, yeah. God bless you, whoever you are. But holy shit, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, just the whole fucking talk about submissions, using that in the street and everything, it's just, I can't get over how many people actually buy into it. And that's what really fucking scares me.
Well, the thing is, when you're practicing it, it's one of those things where you can go in, you can actually feel it work.
Yeah.
The problem with practicing strikes is that, you can't physically go knock people out and apply a regulated kind of pressure to get the feedback that like, oh yeah, no, that's choking me. Like you can strike and hit a little bit to give them a little shot. But again, you're going to be causing, anymore, you're going to be causing some serious damage to your target. But you do get that confidence if you are working with a partner and you kind of just bang a little bit, like, oh yeah, fuck. Right. So yeah, every once in a while, you'll do that. But for the most part, then you're training on the targets and the dummies and you're blasting it.
Yeah.
But again, if I'm telling you right now, if you can't knock someone out with a strike, you damn sure as shit will not be able to submit anybody in the street.
Yeah.
Forget it. It's infinitely harder to do it. You may have a different opinion. Yeah, you're wrong. Because, that's look, it takes a split second to knock somebody out with a strike.
Yep.
It takes 6 to 8 seconds to submit somebody with, and that all depends. Listen, these numbers that people fucking throw out are guesses at best.
Yep.
If you have the choke perfect, it depends. There's a lot of things that happens. One, you got to get your submission in perfect.
Yep.
2, depends on your person. If you have somebody who's fucking strong and bigger, it's going to take longer. And guess what? Your energy and strength to do that, holy crap. Holy crap. You get tired fast. Your adrenaline going, your whole body's coursing. Holy shit. I'm telling you, it's freaking real. And your adrenaline, it's like gunpowder. So, you gotta, this shit, hell no.
Yeah.
Hell no. So, yeah, I just, again, there's so many easier things to do, and you can either spend your hours and months and years perfecting a strangle. I see submissions in use in police work and security. It's a real, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Takes a lot of training, but totally, definitely. I've always been a big advocate for judo for law enforcement. I know, like a lot of people, in the BJJs, because it's kind of like the flavor of the month. And look, and it's better than nothing for cops. The problem is, when you're responding as a police officer or any security, you're not going to be alone. You're going to be working as a team, and you're going to be overwhelming force. So putting yourself on the ground, on the bottom of the shit pile, ain't exactly a great idea. Plus, when you're wearing your equipment, you're wearing a vest, you're wearing gun belt, you're wearing a lot of things. Once you realize you start training with this stuff, a lot of the stuff you can't do because your just mobility is fucked up.
Yeah.
Plus, you're also dealing with somebody who's probably going to be a lot larger, stronger. So, you got multiple guys on your team. I like judo because it teaches you to get a position of advantage from the top. It teaches you to stay on your feet, so you don't go to the ground that easily, and you don't have to be this great judo guy. You can build a good defense, a really good defense, very quickly. Your offense takes a while. One of the sayings in Japan is, so you've got 2 aspects of judo, tachiwaza, which is standing, and neiwaza, which is ground fighting, which is what has become Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I won't get into it too much, but the history of judo is that, when Kano and the Olympics, they focused on throwing because that embodied more of the samurai spirit, the one strike, one kill type of thing, going for that big throw. Now, they always had a robust newaza ground fighting. And there's a book, Kawaishi's My Judo, which you should check out. It was Kawaishi. M. Kawaishi was the head of the Judo Federation in France. An extensive. Hold on a second. There we go. No, this isn't it. Where are you? Shit. I have it someplace. Where'd you go? Nope. Son of a bitch. I don't have it here. Anyway, so it's it has an intensive, it's got everything from neck dislocations, submissions, all kinds of nasty shit that you'll see all in BJJ and MMA. There's nothing new. I mean, this has been done over and over again. In fact, if you look up Kosen Judo, it's I think that was what they used in the north of Japan. Kosen just means high school, but it was ground fighting, and it was mainly ground fighting. So there's extensive videos on that. Kosen, Kosen, you can find it. Mieda, who went down to teach BJJ, teach judo. The Brazilians like to whitewash this and turn this into, they want to disassociate with judo, but they call it jujitsu. Back then they called everything jujitsu, but the reality was it was judo. They were not exporting. Japan did a, hold on. Okay, that's done. So Japan did a with their, to spread their culture, they put emissaries out and they taught judo. But for lack of a better term, they called it jujitsu, but it was clearly judo because jujitsu at the time was very kind of lowbrow. They were kind of getting away from that, that in their culture, and they wanted to be, something more presentable to the West. And most of the people that actually practice it were kind of like street thugs, and it was kind of like the half-assed, a lot of the stuff that was being taught, especially to American GIs and things like that during the time. So it was clearly judo that was being exported. And they were just saying also in Japan to get proficient, 10 years for tachiwaza, so 10 years for standing technique, 3 years for ground technique. So to get proficient at ground, it's a lot easier. There's, a lot less moving parts. It's a lot less technical, even though it is very technical. But as far as moving somebody standing from a regular position, as opposed to trapping them on the ground, it just takes faster to learn. Plus, from a school perspective, like if you're running a business, BJJ is a lot better to teach than judo because one, you require less space.
Yes.
Okay. Look, real estate at a premium, you can fit a lot of people in there. Two, you have less chance of getting hurt. If you're on the ground, they're controlled submissions. Yeah. You can get some asshole that'll crank something and, there's always a risk of injury, but you don't have to worry about groups knocking into one another, people getting thrown and rolling into one another from your feet. And that's where, you twist ankles and, tear ligaments. So, it was easier to learn, and you can do jujitsu, I believe, longer than judo, only because you can go and roll around. It's not as hard on your joints. So to continue practicing, and from a business martial arts standpoint, BJJ is a winner. But you have to realize that, when you're applying it to self-defense, this, all fights go to the ground. Well, sometimes, but there's no hard fast on that. There's no study on that whatsoever.
And, I'll tell you, I'm completely good with teaching people how to better their position on the ground, 100%. But as far as teaching fucking submissions, complete waste of time. Teach position, Teach how to fucking strike like a fucking madman down on the ground so that you can get back up to your fucking feet. And don't train in a padded dojo. If you want to train for the street, get out and train in the street. You'll realize real quick just how limited you really are. Just the kind of shit you're going to fucking face out there just in that kind of environment. You'll realize why going to the ground is a last resort.
Exactly. Once you're doing this, I mean, come on, multiple attackers, the ground. I mean, most of those techniques are designed to work against someone who's about your size.
Yeah.
So, if you're going to somebody who's like 50, 100 pounds bigger than you, you can't create space and they're going to freaking lay on you and it hurts. So on top of that, you got the ground that will beat the crap out of you almost as much as the person on top of you. Yeah. So never choose the ground. We teach ground fighting. We don't teach grappling.
That's right.
There's a difference. Big difference. We're not teaching submission, even though we have it in the training system. Of course we do, because it's a part of the study of it. But for essential self-defense, you don't need any of that crap. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you're not arming yourself in some way, shape, or form with an edged weapon or something like, something to that effect that we get into in module 9, if you're a 110-pound woman and there's a freaking, 200-pound guy who's, wanting to kill you before he rapes you, you would have to be insanely skilled, right? If this guy gets himself on top of you. Yep. But if you have edged weapons on you where you can, stab him and start bleeding him out, and distract him and then move in a way where you can create some space and escape from underneath him, you got a real shot. Yeah. But doing that shit, come on, man. Come on. So on that note, all right, I want to thank you for joining us today. We covered a lot of stuff. Again, George, thank you for bringing that up. Excellent topic. Until next time, train honestly.